Peacock just put 11 of the most unhinged, ruthless, manipulative, and iconic reality TV villains in American history under the same roof. With $200,000 on the line and cameras rolling 24 hours a day. Tom Sandoval is in there, Quinn is in there, Tiffany New York Pollard, back for a third time, is in there. Drita D'Avanzo from Mob Wives is in there, and she has already told the cast that if they come at her online, she will find their grandmother and rip her apart. That is a direct quote from a Gold Derby interview this week. That is a real thing a real person said with their full chest. House of Villains Season 3 premiered today, February 26th, exclusively on Peacock. And before you watch a single second of that first episode, you need to understand exactly who is walking into that house, their history, their villain credentials, their threat level, and most importantly, who I think is walking out of that house in 10 episodes with the title of America's Ultimate Supervillain. Stay right there. This breakdown is everything. Here is what we are covering. First, I am walking through every single cast member one by one with their full villain origin story and my threat assessment going into this season. Because you cannot watch this show correctly if you do not understand why these people are here. Second, I am ranking the full cast from least to most dangerous, and my number one pick is going to start a debate. Third, my supervillain prediction. One name, full reasoning, no hedging. And fourth, the hottest takes about this cast that I have been holding in since the lineup was first announced. New here? Welcome, subscribe, and hit that bell. House of Villains episodes drop weekly on Peacock, and we are doing a full breakdown every single week this season. Let's get into it. All right, context first. Because House of Villains is not just a competition show. It is a specific kind of social experiment that only works if the villains are real. The format is simple. 11 reality stars live in a house together. They compete in challenges. They vote each other out one by one. Last villain standing wins $200,000 and the title of America's Ultimate Supervillain. Host Joel McHale, who described this show to Seth Meyers as like the Traitors but dirty, oversees the whole thing with that specific energy of a man who cannot believe what he is being paid to watch. Season 1 was won by Tanisha Thomas from Bad Girls Club. Season 2 was won by Safari Samuels from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. And Season 3 is now the first season on Peacock after the show moved from E!, which means bigger budget, longer episodes, and, based on this cast, significantly higher chaos potential. 11 people. Let me walk you through all of them. Tiffany New York Pollard. I am starting here because you cannot start anywhere else. Tiffany New York Pollard is the only person in the history of this show to compete in every single season. 3 consecutive seasons. Season 1, Season 2, Season 3. Back again. The producers literally cannot keep this woman out of the house. New York became a cultural icon on Flavor of Love in 2006. She got her own spin-off, I Love New York. She went on Celebrity Big Brother UK and was a finalist. She has been doing reality television for 20 years, and she has never once stopped being exactly and completely herself. She is loud. She is dramatic. She is absolutely convinced that she is the main character of every room she enters. And historically, she is usually right. Her villain credential is not cruelty. It is sheer force of personality. You cannot ignore New York. You cannot outshine New York. And you cannot get New York to shut up about New York. In a house full of people who all believe they are the most important person there, Tiffany Pollard has been practicing that belief for longer than most of these people have been famous. Threat level going in, extremely high. She will not win challenges. She does not need to. She will manipulate, charm, and exhaust everyone around her until only she is left standing. Tom Sandoval, Vanderpump Rules. Oh, this one is going to be television. Tom Sandoval became arguably the most despised man in Bravo history after Scandoval, the affair with Raquel Leviss while in a 9-year relationship with Ariana Madix. The internet did not let that go. The Vanderpump Rules audience did not let that go. And Tom Sandoval, in a move that says everything about his relationship with self-awareness, went on The Traitors Season 3, got voted out early, and now walked directly into a show called House of Villains. Here is the thing about Tom Sandoval that I think people underestimate. He is not dumb. He is actually strategically sharp when he is not being completely blinded by his own ego. On Vanderpump Rules, he managed to keep an affair hidden from his entire friend group for months, in a friend group that is literally filmed for television. That requires a specific kind of operational discipline. His villain credential is the affair. His strategic credential is actually real. His liability is that everyone in America already hates him and the other contestants know that walking in. And Joel McHale already told Seth Meyers about the trumpet story. Sandoval's lip fillers were so thick during filming that he could not make a seal on the trumpet. He kept trying to play it. Everyone watched. The cameras kept rolling. I love this show. Threat level going in. Medium. His reputation is too radioactive for anyone to want to be seen working with him publicly. But that same radioactivity might keep him safe early if people decide he is more useful as a shield than a target. Quinn. Selling Sunset. Quinn is the reason Selling Sunset had an audience in its first 3 seasons, and she knows it. She walked into that show in designer everything, delivered shade with the precision of a surgical instrument, feuded with her entire cast publicly, wrote a book, started her own company, had a baby, and then left the show rather than stay in a situation she felt was beneath her. That last part is the key to Quinn. She does not lose. She exits. There is a difference in her mind, and she will tell you that difference at length and in perfect hair. Her villain credential is the Selling Sunset drama, but her actual threat in this house is her social intelligence. She reads rooms. She reads people. She is not going to get caught in an obvious alliance or make a visible move too early. She is going to let everyone else create the chaos and then position herself on the right side of it. Can you believe Quinn is in a house with Drita D'Avanzo from Mob Wives? Those two in the same zip code is a Category 5 hurricane before anyone says a word. Threat level going in. Very high. Dark horse to win this entire season. Drita D'Avanzo, Mob Wives. I need you to understand something about Drita D'Avanzo before we go any further. She is not playing a villain character. She is not a person who got a bad edit. She is a woman from Staten Island who has been unapologetically herself for her entire adult life, whose husband went to prison, who raised her kids while he was gone, who got on television and said what she thought and fought who she needed to fight, and has exactly 0 regrets about any of it. Her Gold Derby quote this week when asked how she deals with online haters: "You've got to look at their pictures and find their grandmother and rip her apart, and then they're going to end up blocking you." That is not a bit. That is a life philosophy. In the Mob Wives context, Drita was both villain and hero depending on which season you watched. She could be genuinely frightening and genuinely funny in the same sentence. That combination, physical presence, sense of humor, 0 filter, is a dangerous combination in a competition house. Her liability is that she is an obvious threat. Anyone who has seen Mob Wives knows immediately that Drita does not play games, which means she becomes a target before she does anything. Threat level going in, high. Could go early if people get scared. Could go all the way if nobody can figure out how to vote her out without consequences. Tyson Apostol. Survivor, blood versus water winner. Tyson is the sleeper pick, and I want to be very clear about this. He won Survivor. He has played 4 seasons of that game. He has been on a show that is specifically designed to produce manipulation, backstabbing, and deception for 26 days in the actual wilderness. This man has been lying to people's faces and voting out his closest allies for sport since 2009. He described himself in his Gold Derby interview this week as a renowned schemer who is not afraid to tell lies or manipulate or talk behind someone's back. That is not bravado. That is a resume. His advantage in this house is that most people will underestimate him. Survivor players always get underestimated on crossover reality shows because non-Survivor fans do not understand how cutthroat that game actually is. By the time these other villains figure out they are in a house with a Survivor winner whose entire skill set is built for exactly this kind of competition, it might be too late. Threat level going in, the highest in the cast. Tyson Apostol is the most dangerous person in this house, and I am prepared to be completely right about this. Paul Abrahamian, Big Brother 18 and 19. Paul is a two-time runner-up on Big Brother. 2 times. He got to the final 2 twice and lost to a jury vote both times, which means he is a man who knows how to play the game of social manipulation and competition all the way to the final moment, and has a specific and documented weakness in jury management. His villain credential from Big Brother is genuine. He ran full house alliances. He convinced people to do things against their own interests repeatedly. He was called a puppet master by his own cast multiple times. His liability in this house is that every reality TV fan in this cast has seen his Big Brother game. The other players are not going to trust him, which means he has to earn trust from scratch in a house full of people who are specifically there because they already know how not to trust people. Threat level going in, high. But the jury management problem is real, and this game ends the same way, with a final vote from the people he backstabbed. Ashley Mitchell, the challenge. Ashley Mitchell is a challenge legend who goes by the nickname Millionaire Mitchell because she won $1 million on the challenge, Final Reckoning. She won it by doing something nobody expected, turning on her own partner at the final moment and taking the full prize for herself. That is not just a villain moment. That is an icon moment. A defining act of competitive self-interest so clean and so decisive that it changed how people play the challenge forever. Her Gold Derby quote this week: "What makes me a villain is that I'm always going to stand up for what I believe in, what I think is right, and what's going to benefit me. And anybody who does that is going to be a villain in someone's story. I'll happily play that role, because that means I'm the hero in my own story." That is someone who has thought carefully about the villain label and decided to own it on her own terms. That is dangerous energy in a competition. Threat level going in, very high. The challenge background means she understands social games and physical games. She will not be pushed around. Kate Chastain, Below Deck. Kate is the most understated villain in this cast. 6 seasons as chief stewardess on Below Deck. Her villain moments were not explosive, they were precise. She folded a guest's bedspread into the shape of a rocket ship after he told her to smile more. She delivered shade with such perfect timing and such composed delivery that her victims often did not realize what had happened until they replayed the scene. She has also been on the Traitors, which means she has experience in the specific kind of social game this show runs. Her threat in this house is that nobody will see her coming. She does not announce herself. She observes. She waits. And then she acts with surgical precision at exactly the right moment. Threat level going in. High for people who are paying attention. Invisible to everyone else. Which is exactly how she wants it. Jackie Christie. Basketball Wives LA. Jackie Christie has been one of the most reliably chaotic cast members on Basketball Wives for years. She is outspoken, she is unapologetic, and she has exactly one setting. Full volume. Her Gold Derby quote: "I'm feisty. I don't play. I'm an extreme manipulator when I need to be, but not in a bad way." Jackie's threat level in this house is moderate. She is going to create drama. She is going to say things that make the edit. But she has not demonstrated the strategic patience to go all the way in a game like this. She is a chaos generator. And chaos generators tend to become targets when the dust settles. Threat level going in, medium. Essential for the drama, less essential for the endgame. Plain Jane. RuPaul's Drag Race Season 16. Plain Jane is the most interesting wildcard in this cast. A Drag Race finalist who built a following on being unapologetically messy and unfiltered in a competition where most contestants are trying to balance authenticity with likability. Plain Jane skipped the likability part entirely. Here is what makes Plain Jane dangerous in this specific house. Every other cast member is a known quantity. Their villain credentials are documented. Their games have been studied. Plain Jane is newer, less researched, and in a house where everyone is sizing everyone else up based on prior television, the person whose game nobody has studied gets to move first. Threat level going in: dark horse. Genuinely unpredictable. Could go first, could win. Both feel equally possible right now. Johnny Middlebrooks, Love Island USA, Season 2. Johnny is the youngest and most recent reality villain in this cast. He came out of Love Island USA Season 2, the Peacock season, and built a following based on his very visible flirtation with basically every woman in the villa while maintaining a committed coupling. He is charming, he is physically compelling television, and he is completely aware of both of those things. His gold Darby quote, "I am a renowned schemer." His liability is the same as Tom Sandoval's, but for a different audience. The Love Island fan base is young, very online, and very invested in accountability. Johnny walks into this house knowing that a significant portion of viewers are already rooting against him. Whether that matters in a competition voted on by the cast rather than the public is the key question. Threat level going in: medium. The charm is real. The strategic game is unproven at this level. Now, hot takes, and I am going all the way in. Hot take number 1. This is the best House of Villains cast in 3 seasons, and it is not close. Season 1 and 2 both had recognizable names, but the strategic firepower was not evenly distributed. Season 3 has Tyson Apostol, an actual Survivor winner, sharing a house with Paul Abrahamian, a 2-time Big Brother finalist, and Ashley Mitchell, a challenge champion. That is 3 people who have specifically trained for social competition games, living with 8 people who are primarily famous for being chaotic on their original shows. The collision of those 2 villain types, strategic villains versus chaos villains, is the most interesting dynamic this show has ever set up. Hot take number 2. Tom Sandoval is going to be the most entertaining person in that house, and nobody wants to admit it. The Sandoval fan base still has strong feelings about him. But stripped of the Vanderpump context, in a house where everyone is there to be a villain and everyone knows it, Sandoval's specific combination of delusion, charm, and obliviousness is pure television gold. The trumpet, the lip fillers, the complete inability to understand why people are still talking about him 3 years later. That is a documentary happening in real time. Hot take number 3, and this is the one the comments are going to erupt over. Quinn is the most underrated threat in this cast, and I think she might be the one who wins it. She is strategic, she is composed, she knows how to be the villain without being the obvious villain. She let Selling Sunset make her the bad guy, and she turned it into a brand. She does not need this win for validation. She wants it for the aesthetic of winning, and a competitor who wants to win purely for the sport of it, with no emotional attachment to the outcome, is the most dangerous person in any competition. Comment below, who is your pick for America's Ultimate Supervillain? And I want to know specifically, do you think the strategic villains like Tyson and Paul run this house? Or do the chaos villains like New York and Drita make it impossible for anyone to play a clean game? Drop your answer right now because I need to know before episode 4 drops. My prediction, one name, here it is. Tyson Apostol wins House of Villains Season 3. He is the most qualified strategic player in the cast. He has no emotional attachments that will compromise his game. He is funny enough to be likable and threatening enough to win challenges when he needs to. His Survivor background has specifically trained him for social manipulation in a living together format. And he is going to be underestimated by at least half this cast until it is far too late to do anything about it. My dark horse pick is Quinn. If Tyson goes early, if someone figures him out before the midpoint, Christine takes this. Let's land this. 11 villains, 1 house, $200,000, and the most strategically loaded cast this show has ever assembled. House of Villains, Season 3 is streaming now. First 3 episodes on Peacock today. New episodes drop weekly. And I am doing a full breakdown every single week this season. The eliminations, the alliances, the chaos, and every moment that makes you put your phone down and pay attention. Drop a like if this cast breakdown got you hyped for the season. Subscribe if you are new. Hit the bell so Peacock cannot drop an episode without you having the full breakdown first.